Hey there, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Ever Revenge, the heartbeat of stories that crack you open with betrayal's bite, then mend you with love's unyielding fire. If you're new to our little haven of heartache and hope, oh, what a perfect storm you've wandered into. These tales are the kind that replay in your quiet moments long after. We're teetering on the edge of that glorious 1K subscriber milestone, and your spark is the wind at our backs. So, if this intro's already stirring your wanderlust for words, do this for us. Smash that subscribe button like it's a lifeline, light up those notifications, and let's rocket past 1K hand in virtual hand. And from one storyteller to another. Commit to the full video? This one's a blaze of raw feels, tears, tension, and a glow-up that'll have you believing in second flames. No peeking ahead. The loyalty lesson hits like a thunderclap. Curl up with your favorite mug, let the world fade, and let's ignite tonight's scorcher. My wife chose to help her ex, so I taught her what real loyalty feels like. Broken heart, fire crying, face couple with heartwoman. Breathe deep, stories unfolding. The autumn leaves crunched underfoot like fragile promises as I knelt in the garden behind our craftsman bungalow, the late October sun slanting gold through the maples. It was the kind of crisp afternoon that begged for cider and sweaters, but my hands were buried in soil, planting tulip bulbs for next spring, a ritual Emily and I had started on our first anniversary, whispering wishes into the earth for roots that would outlast any storm. 8 years of marriage, and those bulbs had bloomed every year, defiant pinks and yellows against the gray of whatever life threw. She was my wildflower, Emily, fierce and fleeting, with sun-kissed freckles across her collarbone and laughter that could coax rainbows from thunderclouds. We'd met in a rain-lashed farmer's market in Portland, me a 30-year-old chef dodging puddles with a basket of heirloom tomatoes. Her a 28-year-old event planner sketching mood boards under a leaky awning. Our hands brushed over a pun net of strawberries, sticky and sweet, and she grinned. Thief? Or fate? By the time the downpour cleared, we'd shared a makeshift picnic on a bench, trading bites and backstories. My climb from line cook in a greasy diner to head chef at the Ember Hearth. Her escape from a cookie-cutter corporate gig to curating weddings that felt like poetry. Under that awning, I confessed my dream of a food truck fusing farm-to-table with her event magic. Intimate pop-ups in orchards, feasts under starlit tents. She leaned in, strawberry juice staining her lips, and kissed me. Let's make it real. We did. Eloped in a vineyard at dusk, vows sealed with a toast of elderflower champagne. Her in a lace dress that whispered against wild grasses, me in rolled sleeves, heart pounding like a drum solo. Our days wove into a tapestry of tenderness and toil. Mornings started with her brewing pour-over coffee while I whisked omelets, her bare feet padding across the oak floors to steal a kiss mid-flip. Evenings blurred into collaborations, her plotting floral arches for a bride's vision, me sourcing lavender honey for dessert pairings. We'd dance in the kitchen to Norah Jones, her body swaying against mine, hands roaming with the ease of lovers who knew every scar and curve. Intimacy was our sacrament, nights where she'd trace the tattoo on my ribs, a compass rose for her pointing home, her breath hitching as I mapped her with lips and tongue, slow and reverent, until we shattered together in a tangle of sheets and sighs, her nails digging crescents into my shoulders, whispering, "You're my harvest, Nate. Full and forever." Challenges nipped at our heels, sure. The truck's launch nearly bankrupted us, her burnout from back-to-back weddings leaving her hollow-eyed and snappish. But we'd huddle on the porch swing, her head on my chest, my fingers combing her chestnut waves, vowing, "We bend, we don't break." Loyalty was our unspoken creed, me turning down a cushy restaurant gig in Seattle to stay rooted here. Her canceling a lucrative contract when my pop-up clashed with her calendar. It was the quiet steel in our spines, the choice to choose each other every dawn. But loyalty, I've learned, is a blade that cuts both ways. It started with a late-night call on a Tuesday in mid-September, the air still thick with summer's goodbye. Emily's phone buzzed on the nightstand, screen glowing like a guilty secret. She glanced, then bolted upright, color draining from her cheeks. It's Derek. Her ex from college. The brooding painter who'd swept her off her feet with canvases of stormy seas, only to shatter them with wandering eyes and empty promises. They'd parted a decade ago, acrimonious and absolute, but echoes lingered. A faded tattoo on her ankle from their eternal phase, stories she'd shared over wine about how he'd taught her to feel deeply, even if it drowned her. Nodded, throat tight as she answered. His voice crackled through the speaker, hoarse, pleading. Car accident. Hospital bills piling like unpaid sins. Studio lost to eviction. You're the only one who ever got me. Just alone. For old times. She hung up, eyes distant, and I pulled her close, murmuring against her temple. You don't owe him your light, love. But seeds of doubt had been sown. Over breakfasts that week, she'd poke at her yogurt, voice soft. He sounded broken, Nate. Like I used to feel. I swallowed my unease, forcing levity. Your heart's too big for his mess. Yet, when the truck's books balanced for the first time, our first real cushion, she wrote the check. $5,000. It's not about us, she insisted, sealing the envelope with a kiss to my knuckles. It's mercy. Closure. I signed off, trust tethering me like a lifeline, but the fracture hummed, subtle as a hairline crack in porcelain. The choice rippled outward. A stone skipped across our still waters. Emily dove into helping. Late calls where she'd pace the living room, voice laced with that old empathy, dissecting his art block like it was hers to mend. Dinners grew cold as she'd linger over emails, forwarding him supplier links for pigments. Her laughter tinny on speakerphone at his jokes. Our pop-up in the apple orchard. She bailed last minute, citing a consult that turned out to be driving him to a gallery pitch. His pitch. I catered alone, flames licking cast-iron skillets under harvest moons, the scent of sage and seared figs mingling with the ache in my chest. Friends noticed, our neighbor Lila cornering me at the farmer's market. She's glowing different, Nate. Not bad, just elsewhere. Nights she'd tumble into bed, smelling of city exhaust and his cheap cologne from accidental hugs. Her body curling away when I reached. Tired, she'd mumble, and I'd lie awake, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, betrayal festering like undercooked roux. Hot, bitter, binding nothing. The breaking point came on a fog-shrouded Saturday, our 8th anniversary eve. I'd planned meticulously. A private pop-up in the woods behind the house, lanterns strung like fireflies, a feast of foraged mushrooms and venison tartare, a cake she'd once dreamed of, chamomile-infused, frosted with edible petals. But her phone chimed mid-afternoon. Derek, stranded at the airport after a breakthrough show in Chicago, flight cancelled, wallet empty. I have to, she said, eyes pleading as she shrugged into her wool coat. He's family in a way. Like a brother I never fixed. The word family landed like a gut punch. We were family, vows etched in vineyard dirt. Choose them, I said, voice steady as raining thunder. Him or us. Tonight. She hesitated, bag slung over her shoulder, then whispered. I can't abandon him. Not when he needs me. The door shut with a finality that echoed through the empty house, leaving me in the kitchen, flames dying on the stove, petals wilting on the counter. Rage didn't consume me. Grief did, a slow burn that clarified rather than charred. I didn't rage text or tail her cab. Instead I taught her, through action not accusation, what loyalty felt like. The next morning I rose before dawn, packed the truck with the untouched feast, and drove to the coast. Not to wallow but to create. I set up on a bluff overlooking the Pacific, waves crashing like unsung anthems, inviting every soul who'd ever tasted our food. Lila and her wife, the orchard farmers, even Emily's estranged sister Claire, whom I'd called at midnight with a simple, she needs her people. We all do. By noon, it was a vigil of sorts, tables groaning under last night's bounty, now warmed and shared, laughter rising like steam from cider mugs. I cooked with fury turned to focus, plating heirloom salads with a vinaigrette sharp as regret, each forkful a testament to abundance without her. Claire arrived last, eyes red from the drive, pulling me aside. She's slipping, Nate. Derek's a black hole. I nodded, plating her a slice of cake. Then we shine brighter. Word spread, subtly, organically. Photos hit her feeds. The bluffs glow, faces alight, captions like feast for the faithful, and roots run deeper than rain. By evening, as the sun dipped bloody into the sea, my phone buzzed. Not her lair. She's here. At the airport hotel. Saw the pics. Breaking down. I didn't rush. Instead, I drove home through twilight, the house aglow with candles I'd lit on autopilot, every surface a memory. Her sketchbooks on the mantel, our tangled hiking boots by the door. She stumbled in at midnight, coat askew, mascara-streaked Derek's thank you text glowing on her screen like fool's gold. Nate. She crumpled at my feet, sobs racking her frame, hands clutching my knees. Chose wrong. He took the money, the ride, and nothing. Just more need. But you built a world without me, yet left the door open. I knelt, cupping her face, thumbs wiping rivers of regret. Loyalty isn't rescue, Em. It's presence. The choice to stay, to build, even when it hurts. Her lips found mine then. Desperate, devouring, tasting of airport coffee and saltwater tears. We stripped away the distance in the candlelight, bodies colliding with the urgency of near loss. Her fingers clawing my back, legs locking around my waist as I lifted her to the rug, thrusts deep and deliberate, each one a reclamation. Gasps turning to moans, her name a prayer on my tongue until we crested together, shattered and whole, sweat-slick and soul-bound. Dawn found us entwined, her head on my chest, fingers tracing the compass rose. Teach me, she whispered. Every day. We did. I mentored her through boundaries, blocking Derek's number, channeling her empathy into a scholarship for young planners. She poured into the truck, curating events that fused our worlds. Woodland weddings with my foraged menus, her arches twined with edible blooms. Challenges lingered. His shadow in her dreams, my scars from the choice, but we faced them forged. Therapy under maples where tears watered new bulbs, anniversaries on bluffs, toasting the sea with chamomile cake. Loyalty, we learned, isn't blind allegiance. It's the fire that warms without consuming, the root that holds through frost. 2 springs on, as tulips unfurled in defiant color, she pressed a sketch into my palm. Us, intertwined vines on a compass, petals blooming from thorns. Real feels like this, she said, kissing me under the arbor. And it did, fierce, faithful, forever. Phew. If that inferno of a story didn't scorch your soul and leave it glowing, I must have told it wrong. Nathan and Emily's journey is a reminder. True loyalty isn't a chain. It's the spark that reignites what's worth saving. Massive thanks for burning through every flame with me. Your full attention fuels these fires. If it melted you, ignited a fierce hug for your own love, or whispered, choose wisely. Drop a like, pass it to your circle of survivors, and subscribe.